you?
Oh, I'm the sidelines, but I'm good. I'm just on time back home, you know. We've had a couple of weeks off and waiting for the festival season to start over here in Europe. It's going to be a good thing, 15 gigs during the summer, and then after that, I don't know, started to work on the next album, I guess.
Oh, man, I just want to thank you so much for taking the time out to do this. Like, this is a really big honor for me. Thank you.
Oh, come on, a pleasure.
So, my name's Nattalie, and I write for this teen newspaper called LAU. So, we just kind of set out to do, like, these band interviews with our favorite bands that we respect a lot, and so this is huge for me, and thank you.
Oh, well, you know, I'm blushing here.
So you guys just finished your tour, and Digital Versatile Doom just came out. How do you go about readjusting to daily life?
There's no readjusting, you know. You know, when I come back home, the only difference is that basically I go buy my own toilet paper. So that's about it. I wake up, check my email, and start playing my acoustic guitar, and maybe see a friend in the evening, and that's about it. It's very, very simple.
Just kind of...
relaxing and sleep and writing new stuff, so it's not that different compared to being on tour. The difference is that you got to actually, you know, do your laundry and buy the toilet paper and do the kind of like the average stuff.
Right, the daily chores and all that stuff.
Indeed, but actually it does feel kind of psychedelic and surreal to do that after a long tour. So in a way, you know, it feels like a vacation to be back home and doing all that normal stuff, which is very unnormal for me.
Right, because I'm sure touring all the time can be very exhausting at times, so just being home and being in your own bed is just, you know, very relaxing, and it's good to be back.
Oh, yeah, it's not bad. It's funny, you know, I've got a band probably, you know, I've owned for about, what is it, like 2 or 3 years, and I've probably survived like 15 nights on it. So, it is exciting.
That's crazy. So, I've read a lot of interviews, and it seems that you're so educated in all aspects of life, from, you know, books to paintings to playing many instruments. And, like, as a lyricist and a musician, have you trained yourself to kind of soak up all this knowledge and store it for future references?
I'll just be really lucky to meet the right people at the pub. So you know, just when you're a musician, you tend to meet a lot of musicians, and you tend to talk about, you know, if you'd be a plumber, you'd probably hang out with the plumbers in a pub and talk about different aspects of plumbing. So it's not that different in that sense. So just being, you know, being blessed with the opportunity of traveling around the world with the band and meeting a lot of people and
different cultures
and stuff like that. I'm not very well educated, but I know bits and pieces. That's really, you know, fragmented all the information I do have. So I wouldn't be to talk about the, you know, finer aspects of you know, anything.
No. And like you read a lot of books as well, and you just mentioned reading, you know, 2012 and the Oxford Book of Death, which I picked up and is really amazing. What have you been reading lately?
What the fuck? Back home I always read like 7 books at a time. I'm reading this pretty good Shrieks at Midnight. It's a couple of poems, eerie and humorous. It's an old book from the 60s. It's like humorous poems, but really quirky, doomy, gloomy, and great ones. Then I'm reading one of my biographies on Aleister Crowley. I've read a couple of books about him, and he's just a fascinating character. So I'm reading one of him called Gunsmoke, the library section, which is my bedroom. So, yeah, the book's called Do Wonder World by Lawrence.
I'm definitely going to pick that up.
I'm reading Death, Dsire, and the Doll, The Life and Art of Hans Melba. That's very exciting. Then I'm reading Kiss Me Judas by Christopher Bear. Then reading The Green King by Paul Luke Schulze. So I'm reading a lot of stuff at the same time.
And do you draw most of your inspirations from reading or from music or cultures?
Well, I guess it's everything. It's just like keeping your eyes open. You know, you can get good ideas from, well, you know, basically all the ideas behind songs, they do come from real life. You know, people I've met or stories I've heard. But then reading poetry or reading literature, you know, just helps you out to be able to function better as a lyricist. It gives you different options and different, you know, ways of explaining yourself better. And try to put emotions down onto paper is very, very hard.
Right.
And especially for me, since I wasn't brought up in an English-speaking family, so it's still, you know, it's complicated, but at the same time very rewarding. So that's the reason why I keep on doing it.
Right. Kind of like in expanding your, you know, language and vocabulary and everything. That's awesome.
Because it's fun, and it's great to be able to do that, you know, as a, you know, it's my passion, and it's great that the passion over the years has been, you know, it's fruitful in a way that, you know, I get the bread on my table, and you know, I afford to buy my toilet paper with the money I get from the passion. So that's fantastic, and that's very rare.
Yeah.
So that's a great thing, and very few musicians are able to do that. So I'm very glad, and I feel humble, and you know.
Right. No, it's.
I'm so glad about it.
That's so cool. That's awesome. And I was gonna ask you, it's kind of, you know, off topic, but recently there was kind of like a war in Mexico between, did you hear about that, between emo fans and metal fans? And I read that, and it's just, it completely defeats the whole idea of music for me, which is initially to bring people together. Like, what do you think about that? Because our generation has lost the concept of music completely, it seems.
Well, you know, back in the day, you know, I think there's always been that kind of tribal behavior when it comes to music or whatever. You know, it's the same as in fashion. You had mods in England, and you had rockers in England, and you know, back in the 60s or whatever. So it hasn't changed that much. You know, there's always different tribes fighting against each other. That's the way of human nature, I guess. So it's just, you know, labeling things and fighting because of those labels. That's just waste time, I guess.
Exactly, and you guys are, you know, just so brilliant for coming up with your own genre, so you don't have to be categorized in anything else, and, you know, being kind of put in this position.
And the whole emo thing for me sounds kind of weird in the way that, you know, it started off as being emo hardcore, which meant emotional hardcore, which meant that it was hardcore and lyrics, hardcore music with the lyrics talking about different things than politics.
Right.
For example, it wasn't political at all. It was more about, you know, emotional things, the things that happen within each and every heart. So, what's wrong with being emotional? I do understand that goes against the macho tradition of rock and roll or heavy metal. But, you know, fuck them.
Exactly, yeah.
Everybody is an emotional bastard occasionally, and it doesn't really matter. Now, I listen to reggae, and I listen to disco, and I listen to black metal. I listen to whatever I like at that moment, and whatever gives, you know, makes my day better.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like if you listen to one certain type of music, you have to dress like, you know, that certain type, or you're stuck listening to one type, and it's just so, you know, frustrating to see kids our age not be able to expand and listen to whatever they feel like listening to.
True, but it is peer pressure.
Yeah.
It is. That's how it is in schools, and, you know, I remember when I was back in school, you know, we had some guys who liked only Iron Maiden, and if you were in that gang, you weren't able to listen to anything else.
You're stuck.
Jackson's Thriller. I had the problem of liking Michael Jackson's Thriller as much as Live Up to Death by Iron Maiden, so I kind of like fell between all those different gangs, but such is life.
Right,
you know,
exactly.
You have to believe in yourself and believe in the bullies around, you know. You shouldn't be bullied into believing anything, you know. You find your own way of believing things, and you'll go a long way.
Exactly, that's wonderful advice.